everybody, so I'm going to start a new shell. It's going to be a 14 by 7 made out of leopard wood. I'll show it to you in just a second. It's pretty cool. But before I do that, I want to show you a few things around here. I've done a little reorganization. I've got some more space and a couple of toys that I can't use quite yet. They need some work, but it's cool. Okay, so you can see I've cleared off the rest of the table, the workbench. The blade broke on my bandsaw, so I've got to get that fixed. But once the bandsaw blade is fixed, the bandsaw is going to go up on top of that cabinet back there. You see that cabinet back there in the corner? I'm going to put a little top on that, put some wheels on the bottom, and I will have a bandsaw stand, which will be really nice. Okay, now I just got, from the same friend who handed off the cabinets, he found this old drill press. The drill press works just fine. The only problem with the drill press is over here. The track broke. I really don't need it. I mean, it makes adjusting easier, but I don't need it, so I'm probably just going to pull it out and disregard it. But I now have a drill press. I owe him 75 bucks for it, but that's not a bad drill press for 75 bucks. Last, earlier today, I spent some time cleaning up this old Shopsmith lathe. A different friend of mine found this outside in one of their many garages, and they weren't using it, so they gave it to me. It's not in great shape. I spent quite a bit of the day cleaning off a lot of it. It was a lot rustier than that. So I cleaned off the rust. This piece slides back and forth. Now that piece slides back and forth. It was this weird multi-tool kind of thing. So it was designed for a table saw. It's got attachments for a disc sander, and I'll be using that. So I'm gonna make it. Actually, I'm gonna use this to make a disc sander. Put some wood on, some MDF, make a circle, put it on here, and I'll have a disc sander. I really need a disc sander, so that's great. I can't use it as a lathe yet for two reasons. One, I don't have a chuck. I'm going to need a chuck for what I'm doing. And two, that is everything I've got. There is no tool rest. Now I'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to make my own, but here we go. So I was at my folks' place this past weekend out on the other side of the state. They live in Amish country. And there's a lumber yard out there, or a lumber store, tool store, just Amish owned, and it's flipping amazing. They've got everything in stock. And so we picked up this piece of leopard wood. Yeah, check out that grain pattern. So the other great thing about this lumber store, my dad, Jacob, my 12-year-old, and I were walking in toward the hardwood section. My dad had been looking for a battery for his electric drill, his cordless drill, and so we were over there for a while. Then we headed over to the hardwood section, which is this immense section with everything in alphabetical order, just spectacular. It was like, when I was an English teacher, this is how I felt about bookstores. I still like bookstores a lot, but it was kind of like that, like, oh, I can't wait to see everything. Off to the left-hand side, as you walked into the area past some just amazing slabs, there was a pallet. And the pallet was stacked about 2 feet deep with, well, they're technically cutoffs, but they're the best looking cutoffs I've ever seen in my life. All the stock is at least an inch thick, often a lot thicker than that. It's all domestic hardwood, maple, not a whole lot of walnut, but cherry, a lot of maple, a lot of poplar and ash, and a few other very blonde hardwoods. And this pallet of cutoffs, a lot of material. And each cutoff was at least a foot long. So I mean, it was good stuff. 100 bucks. So I got a phone call. We didn't buy it that day. We didn't have a way of transporting it back to my parents' farm. But my dad called me late last week and said, Joe, I couldn't resist. I hopped in the car with the trailer, went to Kimes Lumber, and picked up a pallet. I almost got 2 pallets, he said, and got a pallet. He unloaded it all into the barn. And I'm going to steal a few of those scraps of hardwood and make myself a tool rest. So once I got a tool rest, I'll be able to use the lathe, and I've got some ideas to make some really accurate machining on there with some all thread and some extra pieces. I should be able to do a pretty neat jig. Should be able to make very accurate drums a lot faster. ready. I'm about to mill the inside of the Leopard wood drum. I'm trying something different. Up to this point, I've always used the same blade for the outside and the inside. You've probably noticed, if you go back and look at the other videos, you'll notice that I get burn marks on the inside. And it's pretty unavoidable. I haven't been able to get around that. So I'm trying something different. Today, I picked up a round blade. We'll see if it makes a difference. I don't know if I'm sold on this blade. I guess it'll sand down relatively easily, but I don't know. I don't love it. No burns. Well, I decided it was worth the minor burn marks. These didn't score nearly as deeply as they did in the oak drum. Those will sand out really easily, and the finish is just a lot better. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mark some lines about an inch down on the top and bottom and see if I can go a little bit deeper on the inside, a little thinner. So I think the camera may have actually been turned off when I explained how I was doing this. So what I did was I lowered the blade to where I wanted it on the first pass. I'm going to take a second pass and go a little bit thinner. Went down about 1/8 of an inch. I'd like to go down just shy. I'd like to be just thicker than a quarter inch on the inside. I'm going to go down a little bit deeper. But so I dropped the blade, so I was going to be doing a plunge cut near the middle, and then I went one direction and then the other direction until I met the line. And I'm really happy with how it looks. What it should do, removing material from the shell, is drop the fundamental of the shell. I can't really test that here for you to hear, but what I can do is sort of gong on it a little bit. Oh yeah, the pitch has definitely gone down. So it should drop even further. The idea is that this will really richen and warm up the tone of the drum itself. We'll see. I've never done this before. Who knows? Maybe it won't make any difference at all. Amazing how much lighter the drum is without that much mass in there. It's a surprisingly large amount of wood. But we should be, so let's take a look. It's right there, we're right at 1/2 inch, right? step inside, just shy of a 1/4 inch deeper there. So the shell on the inside is right around 3/8. I don't have calipers, so I can't measure it exactly, but I believe it's right. It should be right around 3/8 of an inch. My bench wasn't all that messy. Now, however, it's great. Yep. There's no reason to make you suffer through sanding. I'm gonna sand now. Down to 220 on the inside. I'm gonna go all the way to 800 on the outside. Here's the final. Well, not quite the final. Needs some more wax, a little bit more polishing. But I'm really happy with the reinforcement ring. The drum's surprisingly light. I mean, that's a lot of material that I took out of the inside, and it comes through. The outside bearing edge is just a 1/4 round over bit. Cut a little bit short by the 45-degree inside bearing edge. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Adios.